Consider this: one of boxing's biggest stars, Gervonta "Tank" Davis, is not only pushed to the limit, but he may have just been exposed. The fight that was meant to be easy became one of the most contentious in modern boxing history. Tank, largely regarded as one of the sport's best fighters, was expected to easily defeat Lamont Roach. But what happened in the ring surprised everyone, from casual viewers to boxing experts. The decision that came after the fight exacerbated the situation. A surprising decision, a knee that should have resulted in a knockdown, and a fight that left the boxing world divided. The question now is who really won this battle, and does this spell danger for Tank Davis in the future? Before the bell even sounded, everyone knew what to anticipate. Tank Davis was on a high after many victories and looking to add another knockout to his ever-growing highlight reel. The fight was nearly dismissed as a formality, with many feeling it was simply another paycheck for Tank, another name to scratch off his list of defeated opponents. The odds were highly stacked in his favor, and most experts predicted a swift conclusion, a highlight-worthy knockout that would further cement Tank Davis's legend. Fans were humming with anticipation, and it appeared that Tank would once again dominate the lightweight class. Lamont Roach, on the other hand, was viewed as a fighter who would merely add another name to Tank's expanding list of victims. But, when the struggle began, something unexpected occurred. Lamont Roach arrived with a game plan, and it was not just to survive. Roach was not scared by Tank's knockout power or reputation as one of the sport's deadliest hitters. Instead, Roach remained active, throwing punches, moving quickly, and keeping Tank guessing. The first few rounds passed, and while Tank appeared patient as usual, waiting for that one massive punch to finish the fight, Roach was already ahead in terms of activity. By round 4, Tank was still struggling to establish his groove, but Roach was already racking up points. Roach dictated the pace of the bout, never letting Tank settle into his customary groove. The audience, who had first gathered behind Tank, began to grumble, knowing that something was wrong. Tank, despite his immense power, was unable to command the action and deliver his lethal shots. By round 5, Tank's frustration was palpable. Tank usually starts to turn things around at this stage in the conflict. He begins to break down his opponents, leading them into traps and setting up knockout punches. However, against Roach, that tactic proved ineffective. Roach was not giving up. He was not disheartened. Instead, he stayed in the pocket and delivered crisp blows. Every counterpunch Tank fired, Roach appeared to have a solution, slipping jabs and delivering punches of his own. The more the fight lasted, the more Tank seemed out of his element. Roach was forcing Tank to battle a pace he wasn't used to, and it was beginning to show. As the rounds progressed, Tank's generally cool demeanor began to change. He was becoming frustrated, and it was starting to affect his performance. Then everything changed in round 9. Roach, who had been consistently outworking Tank throughout the fight, unleashed a big shot that clearly wounded Tank. For the first time in the fight, Tank appeared rattled. He slipped and, out of desperation, took a knee. Yes, you heard that correctly. Tank Davis, the knockout artist, took a knee in the midst of the round. In any other fight, his opponent would have easily won the round 10-8. But here's where things get crazy. The referee did not call it a knockdown. Tank was hurt, so he dropped to one knee and rushed to his corner, but it wasn't even ruled a knockdown. What exactly happened there? That was the pivotal moment in the bout, when everything could have changed in Roach's favor. The rules of boxing are straightforward. If a fighter takes a knee in the middle of a round, it's a knockdown. But Tank, for some reason, did not receive the call. Was this due to his reputation? Was the referee hesitant to deliver a knockdown? We'll never know for certain, but the fact is that Roach should have had that knockdown counted, and it could have been the moment that cemented his victory. The fight continued, but Tank appeared to comprehend how far he had been pushed. He tried to press ahead, but Roach never gave up. Even when Tank was clearly hoping for a dramatic ending in the latter rounds, Roach remained smart, controlled, and consistently landed shots. As the last bell sounded, Roach had clearly outperformed Tank. He had dominated the fight, outworked him, and delivered more strikes. Despite all of this, the bout ended in an unexpected tie. That's correct, a majority draw. This was the first time in Tank's career that he did not win easily, leaving many puzzled. How could the judges have seen this as a draw? Most experts, including luminaries like Danny Garcia and Shakur Stevenson, thought that Roach deserved to win. Tank wasn't at his best, as Roach outboxed him for the majority of the night. However, the judges had a different perspective. The official scorecards arrived, and they couldn't even declare Tank the winner outright. One judge scored it 114 to 114, while the other two scored it 115 to 113 in Tank's favor. That's right, one judge called the bout a tie, while two others saw Tank winning. But how? Roach had outlanded Tank, controlled the pace, and even wounded him in round 9. The entire crowd at Barclays Center sensed the fight was not going Tank's way, and when the scorecards were revealed, boos showered down. Fans who had cheered for Tank earlier in the night were noticeably displeased. Even Tank's own supporters could not justify the decision. They knew the judges had gotten it wrong. This was not simply a tight battle. Roach should have won. The crowd's reaction was the last nail in the coffin. Fans, who had recently chanted Tank's name, were visibly angry. People were shaking their heads in bewilderment, and several began shouting at the ring. The arena, which had been brimming with excitement at the outset of the night, was now filled with frustration. Tank had been outworked, landed, and boxed. Everyone in the arena knew Roach had done enough to win. The uproar surrounding the decision heightened the evening's intensity. Tank, despite his feeling that he accomplished enough to win, was unable to conceal the truth that he was not at his best. Roach had pushed him to his limits, and it was clear that Tank had been exposed in ways no one expected. Tank stated that the fight did not go the way he expected. He knew he wasn't at his best, and after the fight, he was eager to show that he could still be the lightweight division's dominant force. "I thought I did enough to get the victory," Tank stated after the bout, but there was no doubting that his performance fell short of his typical standards. He recognized that Roach had done well, but he believed he had done enough to secure the victory. Tank has always prided himself on his ability to score a knockout, but this fight demonstrated that he is susceptible, especially when an opponent like Roach refuses to back down and pushes the pace. Tank has something to prove. What about the rematch? He wants it. He's convinced he'll do better the next time, and he's anxious to prove to the world that this fight was a fluke. But let us not forget about Lamont Roach. Roach did not simply show up, he battled valiantly. The guy legitimately believes he won this fight, and he isn't going to allow a dubious decision detract from what was an outstanding performance. Roach was the one that pushed Tank over the edge, and he is certain that if they meet again, he will leave no mistake in anyone's mind. No negative scores, no dispute, simply the true winner standing tall. Roach understands that this is his moment, and he's prepared to prove it in the rematch. He believes in his abilities, and after this performance, it's difficult to disagree with him. So, what does all of this mean for the future of the lightweight division? Tank Davis is one of the sport's top stars, but cracks have begun to surface. His performance against Roach was far from his finest, and the worries about his ability to dominate in the ring will only get louder. However, Lamont Roach has emerged as a major competitor. He pushed Tank to his limits, and if they meet again, it's evident that Roach will not be merely a stepping stone. The lightweight category is brimming with talent, with stars like Shakur Stevenson awaiting their chance, and the division's future seems brighter than ever. What are your thoughts? Was this robbery? Did Roach earn the belt? Who wins the rematch? Please let me know in the comments below. As usual, remember to like, subscribe, and enable notifications for more breakdowns like this. I will see you at the next one.